Welcome to Lincoln Christian. We are here for high school football. It's a warm fall night. It's the Crusaders and the Fairbury Jeffs ready to do battle. Lincoln Christian comes in at 5-1 on the season, and Fairbury just the opposite. They are 1-5. They got their first win of the season last week. They beat Nebraska City 34-29, so they're coming in with some momentum. And the Crusaders, after that loss a couple of weeks ago down at Auburn, got back on the winning track with a big win over Falls City. They dropped the Tigers to 4-2. The Crusaders with a 42-21 win over Falls City last week. Lincoln Christian rushing for 412 yards, led by Ian Paul, who ran for 256. And the Crusaders cruised to the victory, although Falls City was within one score late in the third. And then Lincoln Christian turned on the Jets, got the win, and moved to 5-1. Tonight it's Fairbury, and just a couple more games and the regular season will be over. And in just a few weeks, actually 3 weeks from tonight, is the first round of the state playoffs. Crusaders aren't there yet, but they're going to keep working and trying to get there. I'm Keith Miles. I'll be joined by Kobe Hansen tonight. We're going to have a great ball game for you. We'll take a quick break and be back with your game in just a bit.
Hi, I'm Trey Pittenger.
I'm Sherry Pittenger.
Our kids are Macy, Lexi, Cruz, and Vivi.
What I love about Lincoln Christian is that the biblical truths that they are learning about at school daily are the same values that we're teaching at home.
What I would say to families considering Lincoln Christian is it's not only an investment in your children, but what you will learn is that you will grow in your faith right alongside them.
Cornerstone is a way for you to join with the foundation in prayer and monthly giving, and it's a way for you to invest in students, families, and Lincoln Christian School. Cornerstone started a couple of years ago, and we're excited that we have many people participating in giving monthly and praying with us every month. We're looking for more people always to become a part of giving monthly to the Cornerstone Foundation. You can go online at any time to our giving page and join, or you're more than welcome to contact me. The great thing is every investment that's made monthly helps students to be able to attend Lincoln Christian through the Family Education Grant, and also is a way for us as a foundation to strategically prepare and continue to advance our campus. What's great about monthly giving is it allows us to count on that money and plan on that money so we can continue to do more things to impact more students, families, and the school in a greater capacity. I hope you'll consider Cornerstone as a way for you to be a part of making an impact at Lincoln Christian School.
See Hi, my name is Mrs. Thompson, and I teach second grade at Lincoln Christian. My favorite season is summer because I like warm weather, being from Texas. So my favorite holiday would probably be the 4th of July because it's near my birthday. And my favorite school supply would be fun markers and pens to write students on students' work, write comments and grade their papers. I love teaching second grade at Lincoln Christian. The children are very excited to learn at this age, and it's exciting to be able to teach them because I love to teach. And our mission at Lincoln Christian is to teach about God's world in the light of His Word. And so it is a privilege to be able to teach that content to children, to teach about Jesus and God's Word through everything that we learn.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Crusader Field on the campus of Lincoln Christian School for tonight's game between the Fairbury Jeffs and your Lincoln Christian Crusaders. By God's grace, each of us have arrived at tonight's game healthy and safe. As the host school, Lincoln Christian is thrilled to have each of you here. In an effort to make sure that both participating schools continue to have the opportunity to attend school in person and to participate in co-curricular activities, we are keeping both schools' fans separated from one another. Please respect the roped areas and use your designated concession stands and restrooms. Thank you. Time now for the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, for the Fairbury Jeffs. Starting at running back, number 2, senior Joshua Robertson. At quarterback, number 3, junior Zane Grizzle. At running back, number 4, freshman Riley Arner. At wide receiver, number 10, sophomore James Olds. At wide receiver, number 22, sophomore Brendan Runge. At wide receiver, senior number 24, Dylan Starr. At running back, number 32, senior Brody Kroll. On the offensive line, number 51, senior Lane Zabrotsky. Number 62, junior Kaz Hyson. Number 63, sophomore Ashton McGowan. Number 65, junior Dominic Hyson. And number 70, sophomore Drake Ritarik. The Jeffs head coach is Matt Edson, assisted by Derek Garfield, Mike Fisher, Corey Schweitzer, Jay Gerst, Rod Edson. Student managers Corey Nippert, Garrett Ross, Peyton Arner, Aiden Heddle, Colton Jacoby, and Parker Jacoby. Good. And now the starting lineups for your Lincoln Christian Crusaders. At running back, number 1, senior Jonas Berger. At running back, number 8, senior Gunnar Dworak. At quarterback, number 9, senior Alex Cook. At receiver, number 10, senior Grant Doty. The other receiver spot, number 11, junior Gage Holan. At running back, number 22, senior Ian Paul. The big guys on the offensive line, number 51, senior Sam Griever. Number 53, senior Jackson Emanuel. Number 54, senior Josh Freed. Number 55, senior Henry Smith. And number 64, junior Anthony Roth. At this time, we would ask you to stand for our opening prayer, tonight led by Spiritual Development Coordinator George Lockyer. Please remain standing at the conclusion of his prayer for the playing of our national anthem.
Let's pray. Father, you've given to us tonight a beautiful evening, and you've given to us the opportunity for these young men to compete tonight. So may we just explore your goodness in many different ways tonight. I'm just thankful that these guys, as they just are able to participate in the gift of sport, that they would explore their potential and character as it's played out on the football field. We thank you for the good gifts that we have through Jesus Christ, the gift of life and the gift of salvation. And so, Lord, tonight may it be an evening that we just enjoy the game, we enjoy your good gifts, and we enjoy just what you have provided for us in Christ. And now, we also pray for our friends from Fairbury to grant them safe travels tonight. So thank you for all the goodness that we have in you. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, the Lincoln Christian Band, under the direction of Emily Bond, and the playing of our national anthem. The officials for tonight's game, referee Mark Hickson. The umpire is Tom.
All right, here we go. It's high school football. It's hard to believe the season is 2/3 of the way done. Lincoln Christian 5-1 coming into tonight. Just three total games left. 2 at home and 1 on the road. And tonight we started off with Fairbury, the last third of the season, and Kobe Fairbury comes in with their first win of the season finally last week after starting 0-5.
Yeah, a little bit of momentum. Crusaders looking at their schedule, you would assume that they would have no problems the rest of the season, but as many sports fans well know, you can't take any game for granted. You can't overlook anybody, especially a team that's coming off a win with any momentum. Momentum is one of the most dangerous things in sports, and you got to be ready to play every game.
And Falls City, their starting quarterback, Zane Grizzle, actually missed the first 3 games of the season. He's back now and leading them, so they will pose a challenge, and the Crusaders obviously can't look past him, as Kobe just said. So it is just 3 weeks away from the state playoffs, but first of all, we got business to do tonight. The Crusaders and the Jeffs will tee it up, and it's homecoming night, so a good crowd here. Alums are back, and the alums and fans had a chance to get a burger from Backyard Burger before the game, so we're ready to go for football. Crusaders will be kicking off, and it looks like Noah Saberon is back, right?
Yep, Noah's back this week, and also Ethan Barrier going to be coming back with a little bit of limited playing time this week as well.
Crusaders last week had 6 or 7 guys in street clothes and just a couple of them tonight, so that's good news. So Kroll is back deep to receive. And here comes Saberon kicking with the wind, into the wind. And Kroll comes up, takes it on about the 10-yard line. Cuts off to his right, and then right into a host of Crusaders, and he is down short of the 30-yard line. So that's interesting call. The Crusaders kicking off, but they chose to kick into the wind.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. And the wind tonight's probably not going to play too big of a factor. Maybe that led into it not really anticipating it to affect a whole lot.
Yeah, it was a lot windier earlier in the afternoon, but it's starting to die down a little bit. So the Jeffs on offense. Grizzle, the quarterback, he's got Kroll with him. He fakes to Kroll, then keeps it, goes off to his right, and he will lose about a yard.
Yeah, and this is one of the few matchups of this season for the Crusaders where you can see a definitive size advantage for the Crusaders on the line. And I think that'll be pretty evident tonight, especially with the Crusader run game on the other side of the ball.
2nd and 11 for Fairbury. They come in tonight. They have gained about half as many yards as the Crusaders total on the season. Lincoln Christian with over 2,000 yards of offense. Fairbury just 959. Low snap. Grizzle hands off to Kroll, and he is decked for another loss. Loses another yard, so it'll be 3rd and about 12.
Yeah, I think the Crusaders tonight are going to play pretty aggressive tonight coming out the gate, not wanting Fairbury to get any confidence tonight, try to put the game away early, come out swinging on both sides of the ball.
So Lincoln Christian trying for a 3 and out and give the ball over to the Crusaders offense. See if Fairbury goes to the air. They have not passed a lot this year. Of course, neither has Lincoln Christian. 2 receivers out to the far side, and Grizzle drops the snap but is able to pick it back up, throws, and great defense by Josh Free. He knocks the ball away from the intended receiver, Dylan Starr.
Yeah, it was an interesting play. The snap was fumbled, but he was able to get it off, and then Free makes a good play, not getting a pass interference call, just making the right play and getting his hand around and batting the ball down.
For the Crusaders is number 1, Jonas Berger.
So I believe that is Starr who's doing the punting, and Jonas Berger back on about his own 38. And the kick is blocked. And the ball is covered, and the Crusaders are going to be in great field position. They will start on the Fairbury 15.
I think that was Jake Bigler who got a hand on that. Or no, not. Yes, it was.
So Lincoln Christian, you want good field position for your first drive, and this is it, right?
Yeah, coming off the 3 and out, you get a blocked punt. You can't really ask for hardly anything better for the Crusaders.
So Alex Cook starts under center. He's got Ian Paul behind him as fullback. Berger and Dworick are the other running backs. Holen and Doty, the wide receivers.
Paul coming off a monster game last week with over 200 yards, multiple touchdowns.
And the handoff to Paul, and he goes straight ahead, drags a couple of defenders down to about the 8, so give him a pickup of 7.
Ball carried by Ian Paul, gain of 7 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 3 for Lincoln.
And a pretty cool article in the Journal-Star this week about Ian Paul, kind of talking about his journey with playing running back for the first season this year with the injury to Ethan Berry for most of the year, and talking about him dealing with that new position and all the stuff that goes along with that, and then having a pretty successful season to go along with that. And obviously Ethan Berry coming back tonight a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you said he talked about in the article, I think playing linebacker mostly last year, but now he's ready to help wherever he can, and this play is bottled up. Cook decides to keep it, and then he is dropped for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, it looked like Fairbury kind of loaded that one side that he was trying to go to and just kind of got clogged up.
3rd down and about 4 for the Crusaders from the Fairbury 10-yard line.
So the Jeffs will play it now, or the Crusaders, will play it from the near hash, right on the 10. They've got to get down to just outside the 5 for a first down. There goes Berger. He takes the pitch, and he is going to be around the end and into the end zone. So a touchdown for Jonas Berger, 10-yard score with 9:07 to go.
Yeah, the Crusaders starting on that near hash and then pitching it to Berger going the other way with a lot of space to run with his speed. That's going to be tough to stop. Fairbury couldn't contain the edge.
Yeah, Berger has got a great combination. He's got size and speed. And when he is in the open, it's hard to bring him down. He scores, and Sabaron now will try the extra point. And Sabaran is perfect. Crusaders are up 7-0, just less than 3 minutes into the ball game.
Yeah, great job by the Crusaders. These first possessions on offense and defense here, taking control of the game early, getting some momentum, the 3-and-out right away, the blocked punt, and then just punching it in for a score. When you're playing a team that you feel is lesser than you got to make sure you take advantage of that right away.
So you talked about the big game Ian Paul had last week, over 250 yards in the game for the season. He's rushed 100 times, 724 yards, so he's averaging 7.2 yards a carry. Alex Cook averaging 6.8 a carry. He's got 503 yards on the season. Dworick averaging 8.9 with 286 yards, and Berger 8.4, 228 yards. Gage Holland 54 yards for a 9.0 average. So everybody who carries the ball averaging in excess of 6 yards a carry on the season.
Yeah, and that's an efficient offense right there.
And we got to give props to the offensive line for some of that too.
For sure. A definitely experienced offensive line. 4 seniors and a junior.
Sabaran's kick is high, and that goes back into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. So into that wind, and about the time he kicked, the wind kicked up just a little bit too, but he still drove it to the end zone.
Still made it there, yeah. Kicked it high. You normally kick it high, the wind's going to catch it. Wind caught it, and it still made it to the end zone.
So Fairbury, disastrous on their first possession. They went 3-and-out, and then the punt blocked. Lincoln Christian just a 15-yard touchdown drive, so that doesn't help your offensive stats much, but they'll take a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, and if you're the Crusaders, you're doing the same thing here on this play. Don't let Fairbury get going at all.
So Grizzle in the pistol with a couple of running backs behind him. And he hands off to Kroll straight into the line for no gain.
Well carried by number 32, Kroll. No gain on the play. It'll be second.
Crusaders stacking the box on that play, not letting Fairbury get anything up the middle.
Kroll, the leading ball carrier for the Jeffs on the season. He's rushed for 376 yards so far this year. He averages about 5.1, so he can turn it loose. Fairbury 34-29 win last week over Nebraska City, so that was good to give them at least some confidence coming into this week. They got 4 receivers, 2 each way. Again, a low snap. Grizzle picks it up, rolls out to his right, is chased by the defense, and he's going to turn it up and run. And a good open field tackle. Is that Holland, I think? No, Dworick.
And Grizzle, the ball carrier.
Yeah, Grizzle made a pretty good move, and Dworick was able to just bring him down an open field. And if he doesn't right there, there's a decent amount of space for Grizzle to keep going.
Yeah, when you got 4 wide receivers, why that takes up a good chunk of your defense, because the backs and some linebackers have to drop back into coverage.
For sure, and then the receivers for Fairbury kind of got out of the way pretty quick. There was a lot of space there for Grizzle to run.
3rd and 5, Lincoln Christian trying to force another stop. And a pass, it's tipped up into the air, and it'll fall incomplete. So Grizzle incomplete with that pass, and the Jeffs will punt.
Yeah, they went to that 4 receiver set again, and the Crusaders able to get pressure again on the quarterback, able to get a hand on it. And if Fairbury is going to keep trying to go to that 4 receiver look a couple times, the Crusaders have to be able to get pressure on the quarterback, make him think a little.
And there's the punt. Berger will field it on about his own 36, cuts off to the left, and he's into Fairbury territory, and a good return from Jonas Berger out at about the 45-yard line or so.
About the Fairbury 45-yard line. Stop made on the play by number 70, Drake Rhetoric.
But for Starr, he's got to be happy at least he got that punt away, right?
Yep. Crusaders had a little bit of trouble getting some guys on that punt, in that punt formation there.
Crusaders start on the Jeffs 46 with this offensive possession. Lights starting to take full effect here. It was a warm day in Lincoln. I don't know if it hit a record or not. 90 was the record. We got close to that this afternoon, but sun is down now, and it's a nice, comfortable evening for football. And there's the pitch to Dworick. Cuts off to the near side, and he is tripped up after a gain of about 5.
Just a half step away from clearing that edge there and having a lot of room in front of him. And then also, I think it was Berger on that play, had a really nice block on the outside, getting Gunner to get a little bit more of that corner.
And we said the wind has died down a little bit from this afternoon, but picks up every once in a while, so most teams will have to deal with that. This time the handoff to Paul straight ahead. He's got a first down and more. He is into the secondary, and he is on his way and is stopped at about the 5-yard line. So that'll be a pickup of about 37 for Ian Paul.
Yeah, if you watched the game last week, that looked awfully familiar. Paul up the middle with a lot of space to run. Had a couple big runs last week. The line doing a good job of opening holes up the middle for him, and then a big athletic guy like him in space is going to be pretty dangerous.
And, you know, his speed is kind of deceptive because you look at him and he doesn't look like he would necessarily be a fast runner, but he got into the secondary and turned it on.
For sure, and then with how strong he is and athletic he is, it's just hard to tackle a guy like that.
Pitch to Berger. He scored once from this play, cuts it upfield, and didn't quite get in this time. Picks up about 4 down to the 1. There's a flag, though. Let's see what the flag is. Line judges are conferring. See if it was a motion or something. It's going to be an illegal procedure on the Crusaders, so that'll back them up to the 10.
Call against the Crusaders, so that'll back them up 5 yards.
The Crusaders not a heavily penalized
So
team.
make it
Had a
goal from the 10-yard line.
couple more issues with it the last couple weeks than early on in the season, but overall not too much of a problem for the Crusaders.
Not even quite halfway through this first quarter. Lincoln Christian up by 7 and driving for another score, hopefully. Cook takes the ball, hands off to Paul, and busts through there and gets about 5. Looked like he was going to be stopped for about 1 yard, but he kept driving.
Yeah, he was met at right at the line of scrimmage, able to kind of bounce off it and drive his feet forward. And that's plays like that are the difference between settling a field goal and then punching it in for a touchdown.
Cook under center, second down. And we'll try that pitch to Berger again. And he walks into the end zone. So Jonas Berger, that looks like about a carbon copy of that first touchdown. This one from 5 yards.
Yeah, great read from Cook there. Drew up the edge player from Fairbury there and pitched it to Cook. Cook has plenty of room and athleticism to work on the outside. And a couple plays before it with Paul up the middle, drawing some more linebackers for Fairbury in, and Crusaders another touchdown.
So the Crusaders with 2 touchdowns in just over 6 minutes of the game. And Sabaron makes it 14-0. Oh no, he missed it. It must have been just wide to the left.
Yeah.
But now we got a whistle. Let's see.
However, there is a penalty flag on the field.
So we'll
Odd
see.
play there. You don't usually see Sabron miss a field goal, and then you don't usually see a penalty flag on a PAT.
So the officials talk about it. Obviously, if it's on Lincoln Christian, it'll just be a missed PAT, and we'll move on. If it's on Fairbury, the Crusaders will have another try. And we got a personal foul on Fairbury, so that will give Lincoln Christian another try.
So the Crusaders will kick it again.
It's only a 1.5 yard penalty, but it could be a penalty worth 1 point.
For sure, and you never know how this game could turn out. That could be pretty big. And it gives Sabron a chance to get some more confidence back and potentially make this one.
Kicking into a little bit of a breeze here. And this one is good. So Lincoln Christian up 14-0.
In the first quarter, Lincoln Christian 14.
Sounded like we had a cannon that went off there. I don't know if that was, or was it fireworks? It was fireworks. Okay, I wasn't looking up. So we had that, was it last week or one of the other games we had that? So somebody must be watching the game and shooting off fireworks for the Crusaders. Or at least we'll assume that's what it is, right? So Lincoln Christian up 14-0. It's homecoming week here at LCS. At halftime, we'll see the LCS cheerleaders, and we'll also see our homecoming candidates for this year and the crowning of the king and queen. And Kobe, I think you were in the junior court this year, right?
I was nominated for it, yep.
So, and I want to say, was it 2 years ago you were as well? So, I don't know what you're doing to bribe the voters, but it works, right? No.
I guess.
No, I think it's well deserved for sure. So,
I appreciate it.
For the Jeffs, number 25, that's Braden Suey, and number 32, Brody.
So is there a homecoming activity this weekend?
Yeah, they're doing the homecoming party or whatever they call it at the Rester's house or home or area land.
Good, and that'll be tomorrow?
Yep.
So the weather should be good for that. That's Kroll with it. Straight ahead and gets some good yardage and best starting field position so far for Fairbury. He is out to the 32.
Yeah, that kick from Sabran didn't quite have the power the other one did, and see if Fairbury can take advantage of this better field position.
And Noah's got to go back and retrieve his own tee. I guess this isn't like the NFL where they got somebody to go do that for you, right?
Yeah. I'm sure you could get one of the junior high kids to go out there if you wanted them to.
Yeah. So Fairbury again with that 4 wide receiver look, 2 to the near side, 2 to the far side. And just 1 back with Grizzle. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Kroll, keeps it himself, comes to the near side and is forced out of bounds. Good pursuit by the Crusaders. And Doty forces him out after about a 2-yard gain.
Great contain from the Crusaders, not letting Fairbury get the edge there and just keeping contained and then piling on at the end.
And that was a low snap that Grizzle had to pick up off the turf. They've had some trouble with their center snaps so far.
A lot of people don't realize how important that is. That gives you a second or two of an advantage or disadvantage in this case where the defense has time to react and then your offense is just stagnated.
This time we've got a bunch here on the left side, 3 receivers, but it's fake, and Grizzle keeps it, and he is wrestled down by Carter Sitzman for a loss behind the line of scrimmage, loses about 2.
Yeah, Fairbury had all those guys loaded to that side. Carter just ran through all of them and shed his blocker and was right there.
So it'll be third and about 12 yards now for Fairbury from their own 32-yard line.
So 3rd and long, we'll see if Grizzle goes to the air this time. He's been in passing formation both those first 2 plays, but both were designed runs. So Fairbury is just a few years removed from having a really good team that made state playoffs about 3 years in a row, I think. Grizzle drops straight back and lets it go. Passes a little bit high, and there's going to be an interference call. That was pretty obvious. I don't know if it was intended or not, but the defender, I think it was Cook, maybe bounced into the receiver just before the ball got there.
Yeah, I think the pass was a little too high. He didn't really need to do that anyway. I think he was just mistiming his hit because normally those guys like to hit him as soon as the ball is touched or attempted to be caught and just mistimed it.
And that'll be a 15-yard penalty, so the ball will be out at the 47. Fairbury's first down of the game comes by penalty.
And the penalty marked off. That'll give Fairbury a 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line.
Pass was a little high, but it was a nicely thrown ball.
And he had much better protection on that play, too.
Grizzle comes in 15 out of 54 passing for 143 yards on the season. Again, a low snap. Grizzle takes it straight ahead, has some yardage, and that's a good gain on 1st down. Give him about 7.
Yeah, that's probably Fairbury's best 1st down play of the night, but still the snaps just are low, and that's going to keep causing problems for them throughout the night.
And Fairbury into LCS territory for the first time. And again, that 4 receiver look with Kroll in the backfield. And Grizzle keeps it and gets out of 1 tackle, but then doesn't avoid Josh Free. I think Sitzman got there first, slowed him up, and then Free cleaned him up.
Yeah, the Crusader line, which is doing a much better job this year getting in the backfield, shows up again.
So that's a 7-yard loss. So they went from 2nd and short back to 3rd and 10 from the original line of scrimmage for this series of downs.
And that's a big play, kind of stagnating this drive. Fairbury had a little bit of momentum going, moving downfield a little bit. Crusaders trying to shut that down, not let Fairbury get anything going.
So we're down to 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And now we got a whistle. I think it's going to be a timeout by Fairbury. They will take a timeout to talk this play over. This is a crucial point in the game, I think, for Fairbury. If they could keep this drive going and score, why they are back in the ball game for sure.
Yeah, and if they don't, they give the ball right back to the Crusaders, who have had a lot of success tonight on offense, moving the ball. And then they would continue to have the momentum. If you get down 21-0 against this team right now, that would...
So the Crusaders, again, they come in 5-1. We are in district play we have been for the last couple of weeks. Crusaders lost to Auburn to start district play and then beat Falls City last week. And we've got 2 district games left. Next week we travel west to Milford to take on the Eagles. And then 2 weeks from tonight back home against Nebraska City. Other games tonight, Nebraska City is at Auburn and Milford is at Falls City. Milford comes in 2-3, Falls City 4-2 on the season, Nebraska City 2-4, and Auburn 5-1 so far. Their only blemish, of early season loss to Ashland Greenwood, who's undefeated so far. And another bobbled snap, and Grizzle is going to get wrapped up on this one. And that one, it wasn't so much the snap looked pretty decent, he just dropped it.
Right, I think he was almost anticipating a lower snap and kind of just, I think he might even have caught it and then he just dropped it and the Crusaders are right there.
And I don't know if that was a case of he looked up and saw what was coming after him and just kind of all of a sudden got a little butterfinger, dropped the ball, and here's Starr, and that one bounces, and then Starr rolls out and runs, and he's not going to get a first down, and Ethan Barrier knocks him out of bounds, and I was waiting to see if they would call a late hit on that. I was pretty close to the sideline when Barrier got him, but
short of the first down, so the Crusaders will take over at their own.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but
line, 1st and 10.
In the end, it ends up being maybe a 10-yard punt, not even, with a attempted fake.
Right.
And the Crusaders' worst starting field position of the night is at the 49-yard line.
And I think we are probably already in about double digits as far as bad snaps on the Fairbury side of the ball. From the near side, it's Paul straight ahead. And he picks up about 6.
Yeah, and again, Paul just hit right at the line, just keeps chugging along, carrying 2 and 3 Fairbury guys with him.
Crusaders from the Fairbury 45-yard line. Stopped on the play by number 15.
Crusader volleyball team is involved in the Centennial Conference Tournament going on this week. They had a couple of games last night, and they will play again tomorrow out of Grand Island Central Catholic. You can watch those games on the Grand Island Central Catholic Strive channel. LCS plays at 11 a.m. and then again at about 2 p.m. And this looks like this is a busted play, I think. Cook ends up turning it upfield and gets no gain about back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I just heard one of the Lincoln Christian coaches over by us say that was Cook going the wrong way. They had the whole play going to the left, and then he kind of went to the right and just had to run with it.
3rd and 4 for LCS. And they do draw the Jeffs offsides. It didn't look like they made contact, but I think maybe the rule in high school is if you cross the line of scrimmage, you're offsides, even if you don't make contact.
Yeah, it could be, and then that's big because if Fairbury can get a stop there, they get the ball back. Maybe if the Crusaders don't go for it, and you get some momentum on your defense, and you hold this lead at 14.
And now Lincoln Christian on the 39 of the Jeffs. And Holen is in that wingback position. He takes it, turns upfield, follows his blockers. He's got a first down and more. And give him about 16 on the carry down to the 24.
Yeah, you talked about he has upwards of 9 yards per carry on the season. Doesn't get the ball a ton with all the options the Crusaders have this year, but he's still another great weapon for the Crusaders to have.
And I got to correct myself. I called him a wing back. I was actually just reading about the flex bone this week. They're slot backs. They're not wing backs. So, although they're in a position where you would in other offenses, it would be called a wing back in that position. Holden again in motion, but it's Paul straight ahead, and he plows up to about the 17. So he's got about 7 on the carry.
Stopped on the play by number 2.
Yeah, I like the mix between the going up the middle and then the getting guys involved on the outside this week. Last week it was very heavily on the run, a little bit of outside mixed in, but tonight it's been pretty even getting all these guys involved.
Could be the last play of the first quarter here. And this is Dworick, and he walks into the end zone, so it will not be the last play of the quarter. Dworick scores with 17 seconds to go.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. He kind of went to the outside, didn't really look like he was going to get in the end zone, broke a tackle, made a move, and looked like Fairbury just kind of gave up once he got to the 10-yard line.
17-yard run for Dworick with 17 seconds to go.
Anyway, after that nice run in the kick, the extra point attempt is number 4, Sabra.
So Sabron gets another kick into the wind, although it's pretty calm right now. And that one is straight through, and it's a 21-0 lead.
Yeah, and that offsides penalty is going to come back to hurt Fairbury a lot. That third down play could have been crucial. If they get a stop there, then leads at 14 with the ball back. But instead, they converted it it became a first down. The Crusaders walked down, scored another touchdown. Now you're going to probably go into the second quarter down 21-0, which is very tough lead to come back from with the way things are working right now.
So we mentioned Fairbury had their first win last week, but they've been shut out 3 times this year. They lost 20-0 to Superior, 40-0 to Sutton, and 55-0 to Falls City 2 weeks ago, the week before we beat Falls City, 42-21 last week. But again, their quarterback Grizzle missed those first 3 games of the season. And Falls City tonight, I counted when they were out warming up, I think they've only got about 24 or 5 guys suited up tonight.
Sabron will be kicking off. Suey and Kroll in the receive.
And that kick is caught by number 25, Suey. And a good return for Suey out to about the 27. So we'll have 1 play, maybe 2 here. And
number 21, Luke Penrod for the Crusaders. So Fairbury will go to work, 1st and 10.
And Fairbury going to look for anything they can get right now to give them some momentum, trying to get going in that second quarter coming up.
And again, 4 receivers, 2 each way. Good snap this time. Grizzle drops back, but then pulls it down, tucks it up, and loses 2 yards.
Yeah, the Crusaders only bringing 3 guys to blitz that play and still able to get the sack.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. Crusaders on the board 3 times, and they lead 21-0.
25-yard line. Second down and 6.
Here we go. Fairbury, second down 6 to start this second quarter. They got the ball on their own. Yeah, I'm listening to the PA guy. He said second and 6. It's second and 12 from the 25. They got to get out to the 37. And Grizzle rolls out to his left, and he's completed a pass. That's Robertson, and Robertson's got a first down for the Jeffs. That's a pickup of about 14 to Joshua Robertson.
And that pass looked to be a little bit behind Robertson, but he's able to get a hand on it. The Crusaders didn't have anybody there to cover it, and the Jeffs get a big first down here to start the second quarter.
So the Jeffs have they've been passing a lot more tonight than they have in earlier games, but the times they've tried to run, they've not had much success. So Robertson comes in motion. And this time a keeper from Grizzle. Turns it upfield and maybe a yard. We'll give him a yard on that. Looks like Drever on the stop.
Yeah, and I think you can see on that play why Fairbury's trying to go to the air a lot more tonight. Crusaders in the first quarter and did a really good job up front with the linebackers and defensive linemen of stuffing that Fairbury run. Fairbury's going to have to try to...
And here comes the blitz. Grizzle gets the pass off, and good catch there. That is number 11. That's Fermonic, who goes down and scoops it up off the turf.
Yeah, good play, and Fairbury's going to try to have success with those quick passes tonight. They tried the little dump down to the running back on the first out conversion a couple plays ago, that quick little curl route right there.
So this is already the best offensive drive of the night for the Jeffs, but they want to keep it going. They got 3rd and 3. And they give it to Kroll, and he has got a first down, avoids a tackle, and he is still on the loose, cuts back, and finally it is Sitzman and Alvarez who bring him down, but that's a big gain. That is about a 26-yard run.
And that was just a great run. He ran up the middle of the Crusaders, overcommitted to that middle spot. He just bounced to the outside, made another nice move, and Fairbury's in business here close to the red zone.
And the handoff right back to Kroll, and he loses yardage this time. That's Anthony Roth who nails him for a loss of about 2.
Yeah, Roth just he was in the backfield almost when the ball was, and not really much Fairbury could do on that play.
So it'll be 2nd and 12 now for Fairbury.
So a couple runs in a row. Successful one the time before. That one not so successful. So 2nd and 12. And back to the air goes Grizzle. And he's got another completion to Fermonic. Fermonic out at the 20. So that's a pickup of about 4.
Yeah, another quick short pass for Fairbury. They're going to be forced into a lot of those tonight, trying to get the ball out quickly because they have to avoid the pressure from that Crusader front.
Jeffs need to get down to the 13 for a first down. They hand it off to Kroll, and he has got the first down, and he's inside the 10 and drags tacklers down to about the 6.
Yeah, that was almost a near identical play of the one a couple plays ago where he runs up the middle and then bounces it outside to the right. Crusaders trying to get some subs in, but Fairbury looking to go.
1st and goal for the Jeffs. And before the snap, it was another low snap, but the whistle blows. And we're going to have a false start on Fairbury, so that will move them back to the 11.
So it'll be 1st and goal now from the 11-yard line.
So, yeah, give Fairbury credit. They have had some good play calls on this particular drive. They've completed a couple of passes, and then that's opened up some things for some runs up the middle.
And I like the effort I'm seeing, too. Getting it down 21-0 early, not getting in their head. They're still doing what they got to do, working hard.
Yeah, especially the way the season's gone for them. They are fighting, and this time it's a fake to Kroll and a rollout from Grizzle, and he fires into the end zone. And a diving attempt by Fermonic, but he is not able to bring it down.
There is a flag on the play.
So that's a holding call. So that's an interesting call. What do you do on this one? If the Crusaders take it, it'll be 2nd, and the ball will be back at about the 20. If you turn it down, it's 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, I don't know what the Fairbury field goal situation is, but yeah, I think taking it's probably the right decision here.
So that'll bring up.
Yeah, especially with the way Fairbury's been able to pass the ball tonight, and then they've had a couple bigger plays this drive. You want to push them back as far as you can.
Fairbury, as best I can tell, I don't think they've attempted a field goal this year. So
there you go.
I'm guessing they've got 2 downs to try to score here. No, I'm sorry, it's only first down. Yeah, that with the penalty, still only first down. Grizzle rolls out to the near side this time and is taken out of bounds. No, he's not taken out of bounds. And it's intercepted in the end zone, but they say he didn't get a foot down. That was Berger.
Yeah, that was a dangerous ball to throw, rolling to your right, kind of like a Jeter type throw where he throws it across his body. And very fortunate the Crusaders don't come down with that ball. Throwing into double coverage too.
Yeah, we couldn't tell. We were blocked by the players on the sideline. I thought he was out of bounds, but he kept kind of drifting over there and then launched that one to the back corner. So the LCS defense trying to stiffen now. It's 2nd and goal from the 22. Let's see if Fairbury tries to pick up a chunk of it here. And they are going to go backwards. And Kroll takes a loss of about 5 on that, and that's another case where the ball was dropped on the snap, and then they just had no chance.
Yeah, and once again, Roth getting in there, meeting the running back just as he's getting the ball, and there's not a whole lot you can do if you get handed the ball and there's a 200-something pound guy right on top of you.
3rd down now and goal. They are moving backwards. The ball on the 27. Grizzle straight back. And now, and are they going to call that a pass or no? An incomplete pass. Yeah, I didn't know if it was a pass or a fumble, but the defenders were coming down on him. Jackson Emmanuel and Anthony Roth both in there. Free too, I think.
Yeah, the Crusaders again only blitzing 3 guys and still able to bring pressure. It's kind of like the Arkansas-Mississippi State game last week where Arkansas blitzed 3 guys, dropped 8 guys back into coverage to cover Mississippi State's now famous air raid offense with Mike Leach.
Yeah. That doesn't look like a Southeastern Conference offense, does it?
No, it does not. And that's what you got to do. You got to drop 8 guys back and hope 3 guys can get pressure. And Arkansas did that a couple times last week. That's what the Crusaders have done a couple times too.
And 4th and goal, they're going to go for it. And Grizzle has no chance.
That's once again Anthony Roth in the backfield chasing the quarterback.
It's an interesting play call, though. It's 4th down, and he throws a short pass toward the sidelines. You'd think at that point just heave it up. I mean, the worst that can happen is it gets intercepted in the end zone, right?
And it wasn't like he threw it to one of the options that was short.
Right.
Every option would have been a short, maybe 10-yard pass.
So Fairbury was down to, the 6-yard line, and could not get any points out of it. So back to the Crusader offense. For the Jeffs, though, they use up some time on the clock, 7.5 to go. And Cook goes back, and he launches one with the wind, and almost a great catch over the shoulder by number 21. That's Luke Penrod, who's in the game, and Luke's one of those guys who's got some speed, right?
Oh, yeah, younger guy hasn't got a lot of varsity playing time, but definitely got speed and showed it there just over the head.
And a pretty decently thrown ball by Cook, but had a little bit of wind behind him and just put a little bit too much on it. And the pitch to Holen. He turns it upfield, and he's got a 1st down and more, but there's a flag. We'll see if that's going to be a holding call that may bring it back.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a holding call, but again, Holen getting the ball and getting 10-plus yards on a carry.
And here comes the call. It is holding on the Crusaders, but they're going to mark it off, I think, from about the 34. So the result is it's only about a 3-yard penalty.
So Fairbury has it 1st down now and 14 yards to go.
Crusaders now 1st and 14, ball on their own 24-yard line. Or second, should be 2nd and 14, right? We had that incomplete pass. The stick over there says first, but I'm pretty sure it's 2nd down. And Paul is loose, and he's close to that first down stick. He's about a yard short, so it'll be a 13-yard gain for Ian Paul.
And Paul not getting as many touches as he did last week, but still making his presence felt running up the middle there.
And again, if you weren't with us at the beginning of the game, we said Ethan Barrier is suited up, and we'll see if Ethan gets a few carries at some point here in the game. And off again to Paul. Fairbury defense stiffens, but he may have the first down.
Paul, the ball carrier.
He does, so give him a yard, but that's enough for a first down for the Crusaders.
Plenty of yards for Lincoln Christian, first down. They'll have the ball at their own 37-yard line.
Penrod and Doty, the wide receivers, out to the near side for the Crusaders. Cook has the call. And pitches to Berger, who comes to the near side and misses a tackle, or sheds a tackle, I should say, and is into Fairbury territory. So that is a 16-yard carry for Jonas and a first down for Lincoln Christian.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he was going to get brought down a little bit short of that first down on that play, and then he was able to shed a blocker, make a nice move, and explode for another 10 yards.
So Lincoln Christian, you got Roth, Drever, Smith, Emmanuel, and Free along that front line. And here goes Holland again, turns it upfield. He is close to another first down. Right at the stick, we'll see if they give it to him.
And that was a really good block on the edge from Berger, really sticking it on the corner on that side, and
it is a first down, yeah.
And he cleared that edge for Holland to get around and get the first down.
Crusaders with a great turnaround this season. They're 5-1 on the season. We were 1-5 this time last year. And Cook airs it out. He's got a receiver wide open, and it'll be a touchdown for Grant Doty.
Yeah, nobody covers Doty coming off the far side, and Cook lays it right on the money.
That's a 37-yard touchdown pass from Alex Cook to Grant Doty. And the Crusaders go up 27-0, 5:50 to go here in the second.
Yeah, I think the Crusaders realized that Fairbury was kind of bringing all these linebackers and defensive linemen in to try to stop the run, going up the inside and outside, which left the Crusaders wide receivers to have one-on-one matchups, or in that case, no matchup on the outside, and Crusaders taking advantage of that possession as Sabran finishes the PAT off. And that was one of the things the Crusaders had a little bit of trouble with last year, was when teams would stack the box and bring guys up to try to stop that run, they really didn't have a solid passing game they wanted to, or they could count on. And this year they have Cook, who's a much more confident thrower. They have much more confident threats on the outside, and they're much more comfortable calling passing plays to kind of balance the offense out when they need to keep the defense honest.
So Lincoln Christian putting on a show for all of the alums back for homecoming tonight. 28-0 lead over Fairbury halfway through the second quarter. Some other games going on tonight. Centennial Conference teams in action. Boys Town is at Douglas County West. Adams Central at Kearney Catholic. That's going to be a huge game. Adams Central is undefeated. Kearney Catholic just one loss on the season. Logan View Scribner Snyder at Omaha Concordia tonight. And Lincoln Lutheran, they got a tough challenge. They are up in Wahoo to take on Bishop Newman tonight.
Sabran will be kicking off for the Crusaders. Suey and Kroll back deep to receive for the Jeffs.
And Columbus Scotus at Schuyler, another game tonight. And a great kick by Sabran with the wind. Almost hits the end line on the fly.
At their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
So the top 10 in Class C1 this week, there were 5 different polls that I found. The Journal Star and the World Herald, of course. Then you got nebpreps.com You've also got News Channel Nebraska, and you've got Lincoln Prep Sports.com. So I took those and averaged them all, and Pierce is number 1, followed by Adams Central, Ashland Greenwood, Wahoo, and St. Paul in the top 5. And we'll get to the second 5 after this play. Grizzle straight back, avoids the rush, and has his receiver, that's Kroll, who catches it. And Kroll out of bounds for a pickup of about 3.
Yeah, again, a short pass, Crusader line in the backfield very quickly.
Second 10 in the top 10, or second 5 in the top 10 for Class C1 this week. You got Cozad at 6th, followed by Kearney Catholic, Auburn, Lincoln Christian, and Wayne, in at number 10. And a team knocking on the door is Raymond Central. They're having a really good year, aren't they?
For sure.
Former LCS assistant coach Wade Houchin coaching the Mustangs. Grizzle straight back, throws the screen. Kroll has got it and has a decent gain, but give him about 3 on the play, up to about 26.
Yeah, using the Crusaders' aggressiveness on the defensive line the last couple series against them, getting the screen, but a nice job of the Crusaders' secondary to cover that up and minimize the damage.
Number 11, Gage Holland for the Crusaders.
Holland on the stop, and Fairbury with a big third down. They would love to get a drive going here and get some points before halftime. If not, they turn it right back over to the Crusaders. Here comes Free with the blitz. And that pass was dropped. That was for Monick. He had it right in his hands. It looked to me like he kind of turned his eyes upfield before he brought it in.
Yeah, I think he felt Berger coming on his backside, and he was right at the sticks there. That would have been a first down, keep the drive alive, but now you give the ball right back to the Crusaders with plenty of time for them to potentially extend their lead.
I'm not sure if the Crusaders have got 11 guys on the field. They're still coming on. It's a decent punt from Starr, and Berger was that Berger, I think? Yeah, he's wrapped up right as he caught it.
Yeah, Berger not a guy who likes to call that fair catch. He'd much rather give himself a chance to return that, but that time didn't really have a alleyway to try to return that ball.
So Lincoln Christian with plenty of time now, 4 minutes to go. And the clock is running. I don't think it should be. Well, now it's stopped. I was going to say it looked like it was running. On a change of possession, you usually stop the clock. We may have a running clock by the second half. In Nebraska high school football, if one team's ahead by 35 points in the second half, then you got a running clock. Hand off to Paul. A lot of congestion in there, but Paul makes something out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell who was Paul in there. They had 2 or 3 offensive linemen and Paul just running in the same area.
So LCS on the 47. Crusaders with all 3 times out left here in this half.
I think Sitzman's over here dealing with some sort of injury.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We'll see. And again, that was Paul straight ahead for a short gain. Give him about 1.
Ball carrier, gain of a yard on the play. Bring up 3rd and 6 for the Crusaders from the 49-yard line. Stopped on the play by number 63.
Holland back in with the play. Holland and Doty both here on the near side. We'll see if Cook goes to the air. 3rd and 6. He pitches to Berger. Berger waits for his blockers, turns it upfield, and then cuts it back inside. Nice spin move, and that'll give him a first down. And that'll be a pickup of about 8 yards for Jonas.
That spin move was beautiful, right? He was just short of the first down marker and made the spin move, which gave him 3 or 4 extra yards in the first down.
And before that, he showed a lot of patience. He kind of held up after he got the pitch, kind of follow his blockers instead of just trying to charge ahead. So a couple of good moves by Jonas. Gets the first down. The Crusaders at the 43. This time it's Dwarick, and he's got a good gain, and he's got another first down. That's a 12-yard gain for Gunnar Dwarick.
Yeah, great job of the Crusaders to command that edge, give Dwarick some room to run there.
So the Jeffs definitely on their heels here. The Crusaders with plenty of time. 2:18 to go before half. And again, a reminder, at halftime we will hear from the Lincoln Christian cheerleaders, and then we'll also see our homecoming court for 2020. And then after that, we're going to hear an interview with one of the new teachers this year, Mr. Nide. And we've got a little slideshow, some of the pictures from homecoming week. The dress-up days, that's always a fun thing. There's the handoff to Paul. He is met right at the line of scrimmage, but keeps driving and picks up about 4.
Yeah, most running backs, you hit him that hard in the backfield, you're going to lose a couple yards. Paul keeps his legs moving and drives forward and gains 5.
So homecoming this week, you had first day was holiday theme.
Yep.
I think you had a lot of Christmas people, but I saw you were a 4th of July guy, I think. And
4th of July.
Had a St. Patrick's Day or two and a few other things. And had a Brains and Brawn Day, a Neon Day, and Tourist Day, right?
Yep, and then today was Spirit Day to finish it off.
2nd down, 6. Clock down to minute 17 with that snap. And it's Berger again. Again, patience to wait for his blockers. Goes upfield and is brought down. Pickup of about 3. He's at the 26-yard line.
Yeah, that was a lot of running for only 3 yards on that play.
And he did not go out of bounds, so the clock keeps running.
Number 65, that's Dominic Heisen.
Yeah, the Crusaders nearing that range for Sabron to try a field goal potentially.
3rd and 4 for the Crusaders.
And now a timeout. Crusaders take one with 48 seconds to go.
With 48 seconds.
All right, timeout. Leaves the Crusaders with 2. Fairbury has 2 as well.
So if you're a part of the homecoming
Crusaders wasted a little bit of time there. They could have called that timeout as soon as the play ended, and they looked like they were going to try to run a play first and then call the timeout.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like they didn't really realize he didn't go out of bounds, maybe, or not really too worried about it, not really potentially going too hard for this touchdown.
So we mentioned Raymond Central having a good year. They are, I believe, 5-1, and they take on Malcolm tonight. Wilbur Claytonia and Centennial in Class C2. That'll be a big game. Wilbur Claytonia lost a couple of games to COVID this year, so they've only played 4 games so far. 3rd down, and the pitch to Dworick. And great job by Dworick to read the defense and wait for his block from Holen, and he has a first down down to the 13. Pickup of 13 yards for Gunner.
Yeah, and Cook trying to get the Crusaders to go quick here, not wanting to waste any time. Yeah, as you said, a great run from Dworick, being patient, using the block from Holen.
12-yard line.
Under a half minute. And Cook takes it, keeps it, turns it upfield, and drives down near the goal line, and he is stopped at about the 1, but that will be a first down. That'll stop the clock temporarily, but I'm assuming Crusaders may use a timeout here. They do.
So it'll be 1st and goal for Lincoln Christian from the Fairbury 1, and Lincoln Christian has called another timeout.
So that was a 12-yard run for Alex Cook. That is only, about the 3rd carry of the night for Cook.
The Crusaders dividing the load a lot more tonight, taking a little bit off of Paul and Cook, giving it more to guys like Dworick and Berger who are having big nights, and then getting Holen's a lot more carries tonight.
And they punch this one in. They've got a 5-score lead going into halftime, so you'll have a chance to use some of the younger guys a lot here in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. Get a lot of these guys that mostly only get to play special teams, a lot of varsity minutes, guys that are going to have to play and step up next year with a lot of these seniors leaving, and maybe working Ethan Berrier a little bit too, trying to come back from an injury.
Now, I should have looked at the schedule. I haven't, but is the JV season done yet? Do you know?
No, I believe they have a game next Monday. I don't know after that, actually.
So Cook brings him up, then turns and looks to the sideline. Receivers come in a little bit tighter there. And the pitch to Dorick, and he will waltz into the end zone. So Gunnar Dorick from a yard out scores with 11 seconds to go.
Yeah, I think everybody on the field and in the stands was expecting that ball to go to Paul only a yard out. He's almost a guaranteed yard rush every time, and plenty of room for Dorick on the outside because of it.
So Sabaron will try to stay perfect on the night. And he does. Boy, he got some height on that ball.
Yeah, it almost went over the fence behind the track. We're almost going to need one of those nets they have in college football to stop this ball from leaving the building.
That one, if he was kicking a field goal, that would have been good at least from 45, maybe 50.
Oh, for sure.
So time for just a couple of plays, and then we'll hit halftime. Again, we'll start with our LCS cheerleaders, then we'll have homecoming court, then we'll hear from Mr. Nide, take a look at homecoming, and see what else we have time for. Crusaders on the road next week out at Milford. They are a Strive school, so you should be able to watch that game if you aren't there in person. Go to strive.tv/Milford. And then come right back here to the Crusader Sports Network 2 weeks from tonight. The Pioneers from Nebraska City come to town, and that'll wrap up the regular season.
Sovereign in the kickoff. In to receive, number 25, Braden Suey.
A nice warm fall night. About 30 degrees warmer than it was a week ago. High kick by Sabaron, and that is into the end zone for a touchback. So Fairbury will have a chance to run a play or two. And for Coach Kurt Earl, you got to, at halftime, the message is you guys have been playing good, but I'm sure the first teamers will get a series or two in that second half, and he doesn't want them to lose any intensity.
Yeah, you never want, I mean, what would be the point of these guys? He's probably going to tell them what would be the point of these guys playing if they're not going to go out and play how they'd play if the game was 14-14 at halftime. You got to play the same way you'd play if it was the state playoffs. You got to go out and earn everything you get. And then the second team guys hopefully will come in with a lot of intensity trying to prove some things. And
Grizzle straight ahead with the keeper. Picks up about a yard. And that'll do it for the first half. So the Crusaders pretty efficient on offense. They started the night with a 15-yard drive after a blocked punt and kept going from there. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and another 2 here in the second quarter. Well, we do have a timeout. Let's see. Was that Fairbury that called it?
That's an interesting timeout to call.
That is, because it's not like they're in a position where they can try a Hail Mary here.
Yeah, and they come back, they're probably just going to end up running the ball without trying to risk a pass play anyway. The most this is probably going to do is just annoy some people that the game's going to take a little longer.
Yeah, that's an interesting call, and I mean, who knows? It could backfire on them. They've had some trouble with the center snap. You have a bad snap, and the Crusaders pick it up and run it in for a score. So,
yeah, and if you try a deep ball, you're risking an interception or a potential sack because the Crusaders have done a really good job of getting to the quarterback today. And they go to that 4 receiver look again, which I think they've passed from almost every single time tonight.
So we've got 1 play left, barring a penalty. Grizzle takes the ball, hands off to Kroll, and he is wrapped up for no gain. So now we're at halftime.
Yeah, still a very weird call to make. But
so the Crusaders with a 35-0 lead here at halftime. We'll take a break, watch the LCS cheerleaders in the homecoming court, and stick around. Some great fun for you at halftime, and then come back for the second half.
Tonight, your Lincoln Christian varsity cheerleaders will be performing the homecoming routine. Welcome to the field, if you will, Avery Runge, Janessa Bartek, Adeline Opp, Grace Lichty, Elizabeth Barrier, Elizabeth Sabaram, Heidi Christensen, Allie DeWitt, Sophie Bingham, Ellie Beeman, and Sydney Allman. Led tonight by junior co-captains Callie Larson and Haley Dahlman, and senior captains Sasha Glenn and Addie Calpe.
Don't show up, don't call out, don't stop caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't stop caring about me now.
Can't stop, won't stop. Where the bitch at? That's all you got? Come on with it. Everybody here, get into it, get into it, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started, let's get it started, let's get it started. 4, 3, 2, 1. I can be your hero, baby. You, ready, ready.
I think it's time.
I need a hero. I'm only a hero till the end of the night. I need a hero.
Let me give you what you came for.
Oh God, superhuman. I stay on that hustle, I fix that little muscle. I hate to bust your bubble, I'm on another level. Yeah, shout, work to be the best, y'all. I got the power, I got the power.
The Lincoln Christian Cheerleaders. At this time, we would like to recognize the 2020 Lincoln Christian School Homecoming Court. One unique and special thing about Lincoln Christian School's homecoming is the way in which we select our homecoming court. Candidates from each grade are nominated by their classmates based on the following criteria. First, and most importantly, a clear testimony of faith in Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Second, a growing relationship with Christ. Third, a strong school spirit. Fourth, they are excited to be a student at Lincoln Christian. Fifth, they actively participate in 2 or more extracurricular activities. And number 6, they were not part of the homecoming court last year. We encourage you to take a minute to read the testimonies in your program from the students in this year's homecoming court. With that criteria in mind, please join me in recognizing the 2020 Lincoln Christian Homecoming Court. Representing the freshman class are Eva Daniel, daughter of Scott and Amber Daniel, and Gannon Schaefer, son of Thomas and Aaron Schaefer. Representing the sophomores, Autumn Brester, daughter of Chris and Tracy Brester, and Luke Laffer, son of Brad and Carly Laffer. From the junior class, Brielle Power, daughter of Troy and Vicky Power, and Isaac Wiggerson, son of Bill and Bretta Wiggerson. And now we give special recognition to our senior court, 2 attendants, and our king and queen. These students have exemplified a dynamic and growing faith in Jesus, while also sharing their hearts, time, and talents with those they come in contact with, both in and outside of school. We are pleased to present this year's court. The first attendants are Kate McEwen, daughter of Ryan and Amy McEwen, and Evan Langenberg, son of Mark and Catherine Langenberg. And now, last year's king, Isaiah Orduna, and Queen Brooklyn Schrader will present the crowns to the 2020 Homecoming King and Queen. Please join me in congratulating the 2020 Homecoming Queen, Allie Nide, daughter of Tom and Jenna Nide. And our 2020 Homecoming King, Gavin McGeer, son of Sean and Jane McGeer. Once again, we would encourage you to read these students' testimonies in your program. Please join me in giving the entire court a hearty congratulations.
I am Mr. Nide, Mr. Tom Nide. I teach 8th grade U.S. history, 10th grade world history, and currently have an elective of sociology this semester and wars next semester. I have been married to my wife Gina for 25 years. We have 3 daughters, Allie, who's a senior, Erica, who is a sophomore, and Ashton, who is in 4th grade. This is my 16th year of teaching. Started way back in the black and white era of 1996. I was at Auburn for 4 years teaching 8th grade, U.S. history and 7th grade world. Coached football, junior high football and basketball there, and started the girls' high school soccer program. Went to Fremont Middle School and taught 7th and 8th grade, again, U.S. and world history. And then 4 years at Blair High in Blair, Nebraska, where I taught junior U.S. history, freshman world history, Nebraska history, and AP U.S. history. Then took a break from education and did some graduate work and bounced around some other things. Came back to education, was at Lux Middle School for 4 years, teaching 8th grade there. And then last year I was at Lincoln Southwest teaching junior U.S. history, sophomore world history, and now I'm here. Why do I teach history? I had a grandmother who ingrained the why of how our family developed and the history of our family, and coming to wanting to understand the why of things occurred, and just really loved answering that through history and through studying it and knowing the background on things, and want to convey that passion to students. What makes Lincoln Christian different from where other places I've been? I think 2 things. The teachers, I got top-notch staff here that super welcoming when I came, being the new guy, and the students are great. It's been a joy and a challenge to up my craft as teaching, because basically the biggest problem I've faced here is students talking. And it's been refreshing to not have to deal or try to figure out students to listen and to learn, and it's been very joyful for me. Interesting facts about Mr. Nide. Love to go to Colorado and go hiking with the family. If you know Allie, that's kind of what we do. Love to watch college football. Love to sit and watch Phineas and Ferb with my 4th grader, and also my 10th grader, and also my senior. We all like to watch it together.
off ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed. You just remember what your old pal said. Oh, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. 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 You got troubles, I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too. But none of them could ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
We're at halftime. Lincoln Christian with a 35-0 lead over the Fairbury Jeffs. Second half is coming up in just a bit, but we got another video for you, and this is a student-produced video by Sydney Almond, who's in the Media Tech class here at LCS, and she had a great time putting this video together. Just some great shots of a day in the life of Lincoln Christian students.
Hi, I'm Zach Kassenbaum, the superintendent at Lincoln Christian School, and just wanted to thank you for joining us and watching us on Strive TV on the Crusader Network and just supporting the Lincoln Christian Crusaders. Thank you.
We're back. The Crusaders with that 35-0 lead over Fairbury. And as we were talking about in the first half, I think Lincoln Christian, Coach Kurt Earl, is going to have a chance to get several of the younger guys out on the field in this second half.
Yeah, really good opportunity for a lot of these young guys who haven't had a ton of varsity playing time the last couple of years, because a lot of these seniors and juniors that are playing right now have been here for a while, getting a lot of the varsity minutes. And they have something to prove tonight. They have a chance to show it here in the second half. Keep the foot on the gas for the Crusaders.
Crusaders with 245 yards unofficially of offense in that first half, all but 37 on the ground. One completed pass to Grant Doty for 37. Paul with just 10 carries but 84 yards, so that's a little above his season average on a per carry basis. Berger, 5 carries for 40 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And Gunnar Dwarick, 5 carries, 48 yards and a score, or 2 scores for Gunnar as well. And Alex Cook, 3 carries for 10 yards, 1 for 2 passing and a touchdown. That 37-yard catch by Doty was a score. And then Gage Holen running out of that slot back position, a couple of carries for 26 yards. And Fairbury, I've got them with just 73 yards of total offense in that first half. Grizzle, 10 carries for a net of -2 yards. Kroll, 4 carries for 12. But Kroll had 6 receptions for 38.
And Fairbury's offense not really raking in the yardage. They had a couple decent possessions there in that first half, kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple times. Crusaders led up some big plays, and Fairbury unable to capitalize. The Crusaders forcing them out of the red zone on Fairbury's best possession, forcing them back due to a couple penalties and then sacks. And ultimately 0 points in the first half. Can't ask for anything better if you're the Crusaders.
Crusaders just 2.5 games left in the regular season. They're looking to go 6-1, but can't, as we've said, can't let your foot off the gas. You want to get that, not only get to the playoffs, but you want a good seed in the playoffs. The higher seed you get, the better chance you have to get a home game. And that ball hits at about the 20, and that is Dwarick who picks it up, and he's got a good return. He's out past the 35 up to the 37.
Number 8, Gunnar Dwarick returning.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a lot of the first team guys coming out trying to start the second half off right. Probably won't see them for too long as things don't go haywire for them.
And, we could have a quick second half because we do have a running clock with a 35-point lead for Lincoln Christian, so the clock will only stop for times out or an injury. Otherwise, it's going to keep going. And Paul takes it straight ahead, pushes the pile, and a gain of almost 10. He's right at the sticks, and they'll give him a first down.
As you alluded to, Paul above his average yards per carry, really maximizing those carries he's getting tonight, really choosing his holes wisely, dragging guys with him.
And Cook almost draws the Jeffs offsides, then backs out to change the play call. And it's Paul again, and he again is into the secondary, and he's got another first down. And that is a pickup of about 14 yards. We'll give it to him down to the 39.
Yeah, Paul, another big run up the middle, getting a nice big hole from the offensive line and then taking advantage of it.
And the Crusaders content to use plenty of clock here. Again, the clock's, it's a running clock here in the second half. And Paul again, third time, and this time only about 5. I say only 5. That was still a decent run.
And that just shows how efficient he's been the last couple of weeks when you can say only 5 on a very efficient first down play.
And for any of our Fairbury fans that are watching, you guys have got something to celebrate today. Your softball team made the state tournament today.
There you go.
And Paul again drags tacklers, give him about 3 down to the 31. state softball tournament coming up next week, and we also have the girls golf tournament. Lincoln Christian girls golf team in the state meet again. They won their district this past week. We got a freshman who has been leading the way, Olivia Lovegrove, won that. She was the medalist with a 77 in the district this week. And Paul again, 5 carries in a row to start the half. And Ian is right close to the stick, and they say he is short. It's going to be 4th and inches.
Yeah, Fairbury right now just sending everybody at Paul going up the middle, basically daring the Crusaders to do anything else right now.
Crusaders will go for it. Not going to give Noah Sabran a chance at a 47-yard field goal here. And Paul, that's going to be close. I don't think he got it. It depends on where the spot is.
Yeah, the far judge didn't really seem like if it was that spot. I don't think he got it, but the near judge was favorable. Yeah, they're not even going to measure it.
So the Crusaders turn it over. Paul with some great runs there, but bogged down the last couple.
Yeah, kind of surprised that every single play was to Paul there.
Yeah.
Considering the success that they've had with the balanced attack tonight.
So Fairbury on their own 30. And Grizzle straight back. He's got time. He passes. That goes right through Smith's hands. Henry Smith, I don't think Smith was expecting the ball. It came right to him and went right through his hands. So,
and again, clock's going to keep running on those incomplete passes.
And a low snap again, a handoff to Kroll, and another one of those that was just doomed before it even got started.
Yeah, the low snap, just as you can see and you've seen throughout the whole night, it takes away a couple seconds from the offense, and the defense, they're in the backfield by the time the running back gets the ball, and there's nothing you can do.
So that'll bring up 3rd and long for Fairbury. Jeffs are at home to take on Auburn, so they've got 2 tough games in a row this week and next. And Grizzle rolls out. Looks, and he is hit just as he throws. Doty almost with the interception, but good on the other end. Was that Free, I think, who was bearing down on the defense?
Yeah, Free was chasing him down, and then Dwork was keeping him contained so he couldn't break free for that run.
So it'll be a quick 3 and out for Fairbury. And Starr will punt to Berger. Be interesting to see what Lincoln Christian does on offense if they bring the first teamers out for another series. End over end punt. Berger catches it on the run, goes off to his left. Now cuts back toward the middle of the field, and he's got good yardage and is driven back. They'll spot him on about the 46 of Fairbury.
Yeah, it does look like they're bringing in a lot of the second teamers. I see Sitzman coming in, Tommy Swoboda's in, Jackson Byers. I think that's Jared Alvarez, Luke Penrod back in the game. And some shake-up on the line that I can't really tell.
Yep, and looks like Nicholas Roth also in at a running back. That's Roth in motion, and he takes the pitch and has to fall on it for a loss of about 5. So that's an inauspicious start for the second team.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of varsity nerves there.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 17 now from Crusader 47
So Lincoln Christian back on their own side of the 50.
Something I wouldn't be surprised if the Crusaders do is maybe a little bit more passing, knowing Sitzman, they trust his arm. Maybe not being up 35-0, but I wouldn't be surprised they mix it in a little.
And here he goes, drops back, lofts a pass wide open. That is Jake Bigler, and he has a first down. Give Bigler about 25 yards on that reception.
Yeah, and Bigler, one of those guys who's actually been getting a decent amount of varsity minutes the last couple weeks, but I don't think they've attempted a pass to him so far this season, mostly in for blocking purposes, but right there down the field with a big throw from Sitzman to Bigler.
And Jake wearing his big brother's number. Trayson was number 12 when he quarterbacked the Crusaders a few years ago. And the pitch, that's Bigler again, turns it upfield. And a nice gain for Jake down to about the 20. He's got 7.
Running around the right side, stopped finally by number 15, Devin Carell for the Fairbury Jeffs. Gain of 6 on the play will bring up 2nd and 4 for Lincoln Christian.
Crusaders just outside the red zone. Maybe we should call it the blue zone here. Got a lot of blue paint in the end zone this week, in both end zones.
Had to cover the one from last week up, wasn't quite gone yet.
And that's Alvarez who goes straight ahead, short gain.
I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen Ethan Barrier at all tonight. It was all Paul with the first team and then Alvarez here with the second team. Maybe it's a little bit of just playing it safe with Barrier, not trying to rush him back, coming off of a hamstring injury and a concussion.
Lincoln Christian on the road against the Milford Eagles next Friday night, the 16th. And there's the pitch to Roth. Handles this one cleanly, but can't get away from the defender. Good open field tackle by, looks like number 53 for Fairbury. That's Ethan McCowan.
And I think they're going to maybe try a field goal here with Sabron.
It'll be about a 38-yard field goal. Sabron will try it into the wind, but the wind has died down quite a bit from what it was earlier.
Sabron not really having attempted many of these non-extra point field goals with being out for a while, and then the Crusader offense being very efficient.
And the kick is on its way. It's long enough, and it is good. It's a 38-yarder for Noah Sabron, and that makes the score 38-0.
Yeah, a solid drive from the Lincoln Christian second team there, getting different guys involved. Couldn't quite punch it in, but overall a solid drive with the big play from Sitzman to Bigler, which will probably be a combination that we call out next year.
Right. And not that, if you're Fairbury, lest you think we're trying to run up the score, I think for the Crusaders, you really want to get Sabron some practice kicking those field goals because you may need him once you get to the playoffs.
For sure, and then you also want the second team guys to come in and give it everything they have. They want to develop these guys for next year when a lot of these guys are going to be playing in the tighter situations.
Lincoln Christian with a big senior class. And hopefully our next home game against Nebraska City in a couple weeks, we'll have a chance to hear from Coach Kurt Earl at halftime talking about his seniors on this year's team.
And number 30, Brandon Konecki, back to receive.
And here's Sabron's boot, hangs up, and is taken on about the, by Konecki on about the 5, and he's got a good return, but there's a flag. This one may be coming back. He is out at about the 32.
Yeah, I think I saw maybe 2 different guys that holding call could have been on it if that's what they end up calling there. Unless there was something else we didn't see.
It is a hold, a block in the back, actually. So that'll put the Jeffs in the hole to start this drive. They'll go back to about the, it's going to be about the 12-yard line, I think.
And here's the second team defense for the Crusaders for the first time tonight. See if they can bring the same intensity that the varsity or the first team guys brought.
Fairbury just outside the 10. And I think the Crusaders may have jumped. We'll see. No, it's false start on Fairbury, so that'll back them up another 5.
False start against Fairbury. That'll make it 1st and 15 from their own 5-yard line.
So Fairbury, their first game of the season was supposed to be against Minden, and that got wiped out because of Minden had COVID. Grizzle straight back. And almost a great catch And Kroll can't hang on. A couple of defenders there, but it went right through the defenders, and then Kroll drops it.
Yeah, I think Alvarez was there he tried to get a hand on it, went right over his head, and then Swoboda was behind but couldn't quite make the play on the ball, and missed opportunity there from Fairbury.
So again, we said Fairbury missed their first game against Minden because Minden had a COVID situation, but they were able to get a makeup game against Malcolm. Hand off to Kroll, and he's got some yardage and is wrapped up.
Kroll, the ball carrier, stopped by
Give him about a 3-yard gain.
Defenders.
And already down to the last minute and a half
Gain of 2 yards on the play. So
in the third.
Second and 13 now. Third and 13.
And if Fairbury doesn't make a decent chunk of yardage here, it's going to be potentially a tough punt situation coming up.
Grizzle drops straight back. He's got some time. Now he rolls out to his right and fires, and that's a catch. It's going to be a first down. That is Robertson with another catch.
That was a good job by Robertson coming back to the ball, seeing that Grizzle was rolling out, and Grizzle did a good job of extending the play, giving himself a chance.
It'll be first and 10.
So it's a 21-yard pickup for the Jeffs. And a handoff. And he turned, and a nice spin move by number 30. And he's got a first down, and he's still running. And brought down finally short of the goal line. Tackle made by Andrew Johnson, I think. That was number 30. That's Brandon Konetsky.
Stopped on the play.
Yeah, that was a really interesting run from. That was an interesting run there from Fairbury. He kind of cut back. Almost seemed like the Crusaders had it covered in the backfield, but every single Crusader that got in the backfield overran the play, and then there was plenty of green grass going the other way.
That was a 67-yard run, and Konetsky gets it again, and he is stopped short of the goal line. That's going to bring it into our third quarter. Crusaders with a 38-0 lead, but Fairbury knocking on the door. We'll be back with the fourth in just a bit. We're ready for the fourth quarter, and I was just saying during the break there, all the Fairbury fans are here on the north end, and now their team's got to go all the way down to the south end, about as far away from them as they can get, but I'm sure their fans will still cheer if they can get into the end zone.
For sure. And then I think you made the point during the break as well about the 67-yard run almost equaling the entire Fairbury offensive output of the first half.
So Grizzle has got Konetsky and Robertson behind him. They give it to Konetsky, and he is short. Brought down just short.
Ball carried by number 30.
About the half-yard line.
Stopped on the play by number 3, Andrew Johnson.
That'll bring up third down. And the Jeffs, obviously, if they don't make it on third down, I'm sure they'll go for it on fourth down.
Yard line for Fairbury.
Crusaders have the second teamers in there, but they would love to keep Fairbury out of the end zone here. And this time he's got those 4 receivers, 2 each way. And it's a keeper by Grizzle, and he is into the end zone. A 1-yard touchdown run by Zane Grizzle, and with 11-12 to go in the game, Fairbury finally on the board.
Yeah, the big play in the at the end of that third quarter sets this up, and the Crusaders, second team, doing everything they can to keep them out, but ultimately Fairbury able to punch in that first score of the night.
And we'll see what Fairbury does if they go for 2.
Yeah, I would assume they would.
And Fairbury will attempt a 2-point conversion.
So Grizzle has got a couple of backs behind him, Robertson and Kroll. Hands off to Kroll, and Kroll is in for the 2-pointer. So it's 38-8 now.
The ball carried into the end zone by number 32, Brody Kroll for Fairbury. So the score with 11 minutes, 12 seconds remaining in the game.
So the Crusaders still with a comfortable lead, but a nice drive there by Fairbury with that long play setting up the touchdown. So we mentioned, talked about the Class C1 top 10. Take a look at some of the others. Class A, Bellevue West on top, but they're 3-0. They've only played 3 games this year because of cancellations for COVID. Not them, but other teams they were supposed to play. And they actually had 1 game canceled, and then they were going to play North Platte because North Platte had a game canceled. And then the afternoon of the game, North Platte called up and said, sorry, now we've got COVID, so don't come out here. So just a crazy year, but I think Bellevue West and Omaha West Side, they're 6-0, both undefeated on the season, probably 2 of the best teams in the state. They're followed by Millard South, Elkhorn South. Lincoln Southeast still 6-0, the only undefeated team in the capital city. Creighton Prep is 6th, then Gretna, Lincoln East, Millard West, and Millard North. And in Class B, you got a lot of great teams. Hastings still undefeated at 6-0, but after that, all these teams you could kind of flip a coin as far as who's next. It's Omaha Scott, Bennington, Norris, Elkhorn, and Waverly and Plattsmouth, and they've all kind of played each other and all have 1 or 2 losses. Short kick, and it's picked up by Roth, and he is off to the races, and Nicholas Roth is going to have himself a touchdown.
Yeah, and Nicholas Roth, one of those younger guys, getting some minutes here, showing off that speed. He's usually in the shadows of these older guys like Berger and Dworick and Holland, but showing that he has some speed here as well.
Oh, we got a penalty flag, so looks like that's going to wipe it out.
Oh, my.
I'm assuming it's probably going to be a hold or a block in the back or something.
That is...
Well, if you're Nicholas, you can still keep that, put that in your highlight reel, right?
Yeah, he'll be ready to do that again next year.
So the officials talking for a long time here. We'll see what we got. And it's a personal foul called against the Crusaders.
Personal foul against Lincoln Christian will bring that touchdown return by Nicholas Roth back.
So we'll see. The flag is laying on about the 49-yard line of Fairbury, if that's where they mark it from.
Yeah, I wonder what the...
Or are they they're gonna re-kick, I guess.
It's an interesting series of events.
Fairbury will re-kick from the Lincoln Christian 45-yard line.
We'll see what Fairbury does here. It's potential they may try an onside kick at this point, or a little pooch kick or something.
Yeah, Lincoln Christian playing very far off. There they go. Now they move up. So yeah.
Riley Arner is the kicker for Fairbury. And they do try the onside kick and hit and then covered by number 70. That is Max Emanuel. Hit him right in the hands, and then he bobbled it a bit, was able to fall on it though.
Yeah, I don't think he was fully expecting that ball, but good enough awareness to be able to fall on that ball.
So Lincoln Christian will begin 1st and 10.
So we'll see who's in at quarterback for the Crusaders.
30-yard line.
Is it still, it looks like it's still Sitzman.
Yeah, and I think they'd probably give him this series, and then if there's a any series after this, it's probably going to go to Andrew Johnson.
Handoff straight ahead, and that is Alvarez, and he's got a good gain. Give him about 6 on the carry.
Stopped on the play by number 30, Brandon Konetsky.
And Alvarez
6 yards on the play. So it'll be second
playing
down and
behind
4 for
Ian
Lincoln
Paul and then
Christian
Ethan Barriers.
on their own 42-yard line.
Still a very good fullback right there, young guy. Runs very similar to both those guys, pretty violent up the middle, kind of sneaky speed.
And there he goes. Or no, it's a keeper this time. Sitzman has it. And takes a defender on his back and gets a few extra yards. So that's about a 12-yard gain from Carter Sitzman. And now we might have an injury. It looks like the Fairbury player.
I think it's Carter down.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's Sitzman who's on the ground. So we'll take a quick break during this injury.
My name is Mrs. Wobig, and I teach kindergarten at Lincoln Christian. My favorite season is summer, and my favorite holiday is Christmas. And I would have to say my favorite school supply is notebooks, because I love to see the kids' creativity come out on paper. I love teaching kindergarten because I love to see the kids learning something for the first time. I love to see when I'm teaching phonics and reading how they're learning how to decode something for the first time and be able to read that word and just the excitement on their face when they get it.
Go, that is Bigler on the carry. And a good run for Jake Bigler. And he picks up about 15.
Yeah, and Sitzman coming off the field on his own power there. Didn't look like anything was majorly wrong with him. I think he just kind of got tackled weird on the play before. Looked like it was kind of got tackled up around like the neck area, so he's kind of having some issues maybe there, maybe. And he also has been having other, I think, leg injury problems tonight.
Handoff straight ahead to Alvarez. And Alvarez picks up a good gain.
Gain of 3 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 7 for Lincoln Christian.
Give him about 4 down to the 32-yard line, between the 32 and 33. Again, the LCS volleyball team, they're in action tomorrow. They play at 11 and 2 in the Centennial Conference out in Grand Island Central Catholic. Tournament out there, and you can see those games on the GICC Strive channel. And ball is loose. Johnson tries to cover it up, and looks like he's got it. Now we'll see. Oh, no, they say Fairbury recovers.
Fumble on the play, recovered.
Yeah,
by
Fairbury had, I think, 3 guys in that area where the ball was dropped.
The ball at the Fairbury 33-yard line. 9 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the game. Fairbury will have a 1st and 10.
So Fairbury takes over. A nice drive by the Crusaders, and they actually thought they had a touchdown on that kickoff return by Roth, but then that was called back by penalty. But a couple of nice runs by Sitzman and Alvarez. But it will be Fairbury's ball after the turnover, and they still have Grizzle in. Again, Fairbury's only here with about 24 or 5 guys, so they don't have many subs to go to. And their flag is down.
Yeah.
Grizzle is flushed out of the pocket, but this is probably coming back.
Yeah, there was, I think, 2 or 3 different holding calls that are going to be potentially right there. I think, couldn't tell quite who that was. That's either Benjamin Roth or couldn't tell the other one was, but they were just getting held on the ground in the backfield, and then another one right at the line of scrimmage.
And Christian Witt came hobbling off the field there for LCS. Looked like maybe some sort of a foot injury. And so they mark the penalty off. It'll go back.
I think they were trying to figure out which holding spot they wanted to mark the penalty.
Wow,
from.
so it is, the penalty is being marked off from back on about the 18, so that's going to take the ball back to the 9-yard line.
I think that was where whoever the running back was for Fairbury was holding a Crusader player on the ground very far behind the line of scrimmage. I think they were just trying to figure out which spot to use for the penalty, and then that one would happen to be very far behind the line of scrimmage.
That effectively becomes a 25-yard penalty, and then the ball goes right through Grizzle's legs, and he tries to get rid of it, and an incomplete pass, and I think they may call intentional grounding, which would be a safety, right?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about, because there's no way he got outside the tackle box and didn't, unless they said there was running back in the area. Yeah, I think they're saying that there was a running back there.
Yeah, so they wave off the flag. So Grizzle does good to get rid of it, but that'll bring up 2nd and 35. Now, we should have been keeping tally marks, but that's got to be 17, 18 bad snaps tonight.
Yeah, and all of them low, and that's just been one of the big problems for Fairbury, just not really able to get anything going because of that.
You know, and it's almost, if you're having that much trouble with the center snap, should you start running your quarterback under center?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So Konetsky takes it for a short gain, give him about 1.
Brandon Konetsky, the ball carrier.
And center is one of those jobs that's kind of thankless, because when you do your job, nobody really notices or tends to care, but then when you have a bad snap, everybody notices and it becomes a bigger deal.
Of course, Lincoln Christian running out of the flex bone. The center on offense doesn't have to do that snap, but we got a good long snapper for kicks. Andrew Johnson is the long snapper, and he's pretty darned accurate. So Grizzle drops back to pass. He's got a wide open receiver, and he dropped the ball. That was Kroll out there. Kroll's their leading receiver on the season. Looked like another case of as he was catching the ball, he saw a defender bearing down on him and didn't look it in.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he dropped it on the hit or before the hit. It was almost, because the hit wasn't too powerful to really cause that ball to come out. So.
And here is a punt from Starr. And it will fall dead on about the 37-yard line, so that's where the Crusaders will take over.
On the far side of the field, near the 37-yard line, so Lincoln Christian will begin the drive.
7:50 to go in the ball game. The Crusaders up by 30, 38-8.
And the Crusaders even taking some of their second team, those leading second team guys out, bringing a lot of the freshmen and what you would call third team guys almost.
And Luke Blocker in for the first time. Also Joe Chapin. And
then Chapin's going to come back on.
And I thought there was a 52 out there. We don't even have a 52 on the program. Maybe it must have been a different number. No, I think it is 52 over there on the far side on the end, or on the line. Tackle.
I think that's Sam Swoboda at quarterback now.
Ball carried by number 13, Sam Swoboda. Gain of 6 yards on the play.
So Swoboda just a freshman, and he picks up 6.
2nd and 4 for the Crusaders from the Fairbury 25-yard line.
Now Chapin back in the game.
Stopped on the play for Fairbury by number 25, Braden Suey.
Yeah, these young guys getting a short field, trying to maybe punch one in.
Looks like Jacob Watson is your fullback. And he's got the ball. And he's got himself a first down. Give him about 7 on that carry.
Ball carried by number 46, Jacob Watson. First down on the play, so the Crusaders have it at the Fairbury 18-yard line. Stopped by several Fairbury defenders.
Under 7 minutes to go here. Crusaders have, they scored quickly. They had a 15-yard touchdown drive after a blocked punt and scored just a couple of minutes into the game, about 9:07 in that first quarter, and haven't looked back since. And now a reverse field by number 2. That's Jackson Byers, and he is brought down. Did a lot of running for a loss of a couple of yards.
Yeah, tried to break the edge. Wasn't anything there. Tried to cut back, then bounced back around, and just not quite anything there. And now it looks like the Crusaders might have 6. Oh no, they're letting some of the senior guys call plays along with the 3 other coaches. Now they got potentially 5 decoys going out there.
There's the handoff again. Straight ahead, number 46 is Watson. And he has a nice gain. Give him about 8 on the carry. Bring up third and about 4.
Watson, another strong runner that the Crusaders have in that backfield. I mean, looks like at all levels the Crusaders are pretty set at that fullback position with the way these guys just run and are able to carry guys with them.
Ben Ehlers out in the game now as a receiver out on the near side. And there's a keeper by Svoboda, and he is wrapped up short of the goal line. Looks like they will mark him down at about the 3, but it'll be first and goal. So that's a pickup of 10 for Sam Svoboda.
They'll spot the ball at about the Fairbury 3-yard line.
And a lot of these freshmen and sophomore guys with the chance to punch a varsity touchdown in.
So Milford coming up next week out in Milford, and Milford just 2-3, but not a bad team. They lost to Auburn 28-13 last week. And that is Watson, and he is he in?
I think the ball was fumbled potentially.
And it was fumbled into the end zone and recovered by Fairbury.
Yeah, I think what happened was Watson tried to grab the ball and Svoboda tried to keep the ball, and then the ball was bouncing off the ground, off people's feet, and then into the end zone, and Fairbury was able to recover it. And that stinks for a lot of these young guys trying to with an opportunity to punch a touchdown in here in this varsity game.
So a couple of chances to score here in the fourth quarter, but Crusaders can't capitalize on it, but it's still a comfortable lead, and they're going to win this game and go to 6-1 on the season. So again, Milford 2-3, their wins over Fillmore Central, and they beat Nebraska City 22-20. They were shut out by, they've had a tough schedule. They were shut out by Wahoo 38-0. And there's about a 3-yard pickup
Kroll, the ball carrier,
by Kroll, and we got a Crusader player down.
Pick up of 4 yards on the play. It'll be second down.
And now he's back up. Let's see, who is that?
From their own 24-yard
That is Malachi Simon.
By number 60 for the Crusaders, Malachi Simon.
Simon comes out. So Milford also lost earlier in the season to Ashland Greenwood. So Wahoo and Ashland Greenwood both in the top 5 in Class C1. Their wins again over Fillmore Central and Auburn. And they finished with 2 home games, LCS next week, and then they play these Fairbury Jeffs at home in 2 weeks. So Fairbury would love to get another score here tonight. And the inside handoff goes to, that is Robertson. So Robertson picks up
Pickup of 6 yards on
6, and that'll be a first down for Fairbury.
At the Jeffs 31-yard line.
A lot of these guys on Crusader defense coming back in. Sat the last offensive possession out.
Another low snap. Grizzle takes it, rolls out to his left. He's going to keep it. He turns it upfield. Svoboda pushes him out of bounds. That's Tommy Svoboda. It is a little short of the first down. Give him about 8.
Yeah, Fairbury able to almost clear that outside contain from the Crusaders, but Crusaders able to keep him in front.
So the alumni back for homecoming. They have had a good game to watch as Lincoln Christian will go to 6-0 on the season. Quite a turnaround. Last year, Lincoln Christian 1-8. The year before, 0-9. And they will go, again, 6-1 on the season. 2 regular season games left. And now we got a stoppage in play. And now they wind the clock. And Grizzle passes. He's got an open receiver, but just a little bit too high.
Yeah, and he had Alvarez bearing down on him in the backfield right away. Kind of had to throw that off his back foot and fading away.
So Lincoln Christian, new defensive coordinator Josh Hyatt this year. And the Crusaders definitely playing a more aggressive style on defense.
Yeah, last year playing a lot of contain. They had 3 safeties last year, or what you would consider safeties, and ended up getting torched up the middle with a lot of inexperienced guys up the middle and then not as many guys. And this year Hyatt bringing a lot of experience, and a lot of these guys have been doing it for a while, and they're definitely bringing a lot more.
And Kroll is stopped short of the first down. Picks up a couple, but it'll be 4th and 1. We'll see what Fairbury does. Looks like they're going to go for it. Might as well at this point.
For sure.
And again, for the young Crusader defenders, they would love to hold the Jeffs on this play. And the handoff is to Kroll, and he is stood up and stopped. He loses a couple of yards, so they do just that.
Yeah, the Crusaders sending all their linebackers and defensive linemen able to get a lot of pressure, which we saw a lot of with the varsity guys in the first half. And as you said, a huge confidence boost for these guys.
At the Fairbury 39-yard line.
And a lot of these Fairbury guys that are in the game are the same varsity guys that have been in. So the fact that these second-team Crusader guys are standing up so well is testament to the depth the Crusaders have.
And, you know, this fourth quarter, it seems like it's gone on a long time, and they stopped the running clock, which I thought the rule was once you were ahead by 35, had that running clock, it kept running. But in any event, Watson dragging tacklers. Good run for Jacob Watson. He's got 8.
Gain of 7 yards on the play, so it'll bring up
and except for that fumble inside the 5 that this group had, I've been impressed with the way they move the ball. They make the right decisions. They're able to make plays in space.
And Lincoln Christian actually being outscored here in the second half, 8-3, but obviously it was a 35-0 lead for LCS at halftime. So that's Watson again, and he is stood up right near the sticks.
Watson, the ball carrier.
I think they're going to say a little bit short.
Gain of 2 yards on the play, so it'll be 3rd down and 1 for Lincoln Christian from the Fairbury 30-yard line.
Lincoln Christian probably in 4-down territory here, right? No need to come out and kick a field goal at this point in the game. We'll see. And the pitch is to Blocker, and he is going to get wrestled down. He loses yardage, so that'll bring up 4th and about 3.
They're trying to mix things up with this group going
3 yards
outside.
On the play, so that'll bring up 4th down and 3 now for the Crusaders from the Fairbury 32-yard line.
And these guys on the bench here having a good time helping to call the plays in.
So the Crusaders will go for it. 4th down. They got to get to just inside the 30 for a first down. We're down to 38 seconds to go in the game. And a nice spin move by Watson, and he will have the first down.
Yeah, that's a really good conversion going in there. That 4th and 4 is kind of hard to convert.
At the Fairbury 27-yard line.
So just time for another play or two, and we will have win number 6 in the books for Lincoln Christian.
To all of our friends from Fairbury, thanks for making the trip up tonight.
And actually the Crusaders don't even have to run another play, so that'll do it. Lincoln Christian wins it. Final score is 38-8 tonight. And Coach Kurt Earl's got to be pleased, especially that first half. The Crusaders went out and took care of business.
Oh, yeah, the first half, the Crusaders, the superior team on offense and defense, they showed it. They came out against a lesser opponent and took care of business, didn't let that get into their head. They came out, kept their foot on the gas, didn't take it for granted, and did what they had to do.
So that'll wrap it up for tonight. Lincoln Christian 6-1 on their way to Milford next Friday night to take on the Eagles. That game will be available on the strive.tv/Milford channel, so check that out and then come back here in 2 weeks. Crusaders will host Nebraska City in the season finale here on the Crusader Sports Network. And tomorrow, don't forget LCS Volleyball Centennial Conference Tournament on the Grand Island Central Catholic Strive TV channel. LCS plays at 11 and 2. So thanks tonight for our crew, Carter Larson and Lindsey Howe. And for Kobe Hansen, I'm Keith Miles. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.